The twin suns hung low in the sky of planet Virion, casting long shadows over dry fields and half-broken machines. The wind blew dust across the empty land. The crops had failed again. Mira stood at the edge of her farm, her boots sinking in the cracked soil. She held a piece of paper in her hand, an official notice from the Colony Council. Her heart felt heavy. "You have 30 days to prove ownership and restore production," the paper read. "If not, the land will be reclaimed." Mira was only 23. She had lost her husband, Yaron, last year in a farming accident. Some said it was a machine failure. Others whispered that something strange had happened under the soil. She never got a clear answer. Now she stood alone. The farm, once full of life and hope, was almost dead. The few workers left had families of their own to care for. Machines were rusted. The water system was broken. The harvest drone sat useless in the shed. She tried everything. Applied for help, requested repairs, even asked the council for more time. But one law stood in her way, a strange, old rule on Virion. A widow could not legally hold land unless she remarried or proved she could run the farm better than others, and the council wasn't waiting for proof. They wanted her gone. Mira clenched the paper, crumpling it in her fist. "I won't give up," she whispered. That evening, Mira visited the central market of the nearby village. Her friend Nara ran a small supply shop. "You look tired," Nara said, handing her a cup of warm fruit tea. "I don't sleep much," Mira replied. "I'm trying to fix the irrigation pipes myself." Nara looked at her closely. "You need help, real help. Someone who knows machines. And maybe someone who can pretend to be your husband." Mira stared at her. "What? You heard me," Nara said. "It doesn't have to be real, just legal. Someone to stand beside you when the council visits. That's all they need to see. You keep your land." Mira shook her head. "Who would agree to that?" Nara hesitated, then said softly, "There is one man. He's quiet, keeps to himself. But he knows how to work the land better than anyone. His name is Kai." Mira blinked. "Kai ... the silent farmer from the North Fields?" Nara nodded. "He doesn't talk much, but he's kind. Lost his family a long time ago. Lives alone. Works sunrise to nightfall. His machines are always working. He's smart, even if he hides it." Mira hesitated. "But why would he help me?" "Offer him a fair deal," Nara said. "He gets part of the harvest. You get to keep your land. It's business, no emotions." That night, Mira walked across the valley under starlight. The sky of Virion was filled with 2 moons, both full, glowing silver over the dark land. She reached the edge of Kai's farm and saw the soft glow of lights inside a small house. She knocked. The door opened slowly. Kai stood in the doorway, tall, quiet, with strong arms and calm eyes. His face was unreadable. He didn't say a word. Mira swallowed her fear. "I need help." Kai looked at her, then stepped aside, letting her in. His home was simple but clean. Tools were hung neatly on the wall. A small table stood in the middle of the room with 1 chair. He gestured for her to sit. He sat across from her. She explained everything. The debt, the law, the council's letter, and her idea. "I need someone to pretend to be my husband," she said. "Just for a while, so I don't lose the land." Kai listened. He didn't interrupt. When she finished, there was a long silence. Mira waited, her hands cold with nervousness. Finally, Kai stood up and walked to a shelf. He picked up a small data pad and wrote a message. He handed it to her. "I will help. But I have rules." Mira looked at him, surprised. "You can't speak?" Kai shook his head slowly, then pointed to his throat. "An injury?" she asked softly. He nodded. Mira smiled a little. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought you just didn't like people." Kai's lips curved into a very small smile. They discussed the terms. Mira would handle the council and social duties. Kai would help fix the machines and restore the land. They would share the harvest. No real marriage. Just a partnership. It was decided. 2 days later, the council officer visited Mira's farm. He stepped out of his hovercar, eyes scanning the land, frowning at the broken tools and dead crops. "Mrs. Mira," he said, "I hope you've come to your senses." Then he saw Kai. Kai stood tall beside Mira, his work shirt dusty, hands rough from labor. He gave a firm nod, holding up a certificate legally signed and recognized. A new union, approved by colony law. The officer blinked. "You remarried?" "Yes," Mira said confidently. "My husband is helping me bring the farm back to life." The officer looked unsure, but the papers were in order. "Very well. You now have 60 days to show growth. If not—" "We will," Mira said, voice steady. As the hovercar left, Mira turned to Kai. "Thank you," she said quietly. He simply nodded and walked toward the broken tractor, already pulling tools from his bag. Mira watched him work, efficient, calm, focused. She didn't know who Kai really was or what secrets he kept. But for now he was her last chance, and she had a strange feeling. This silent farmer was more than he appeared. Mira woke up early. The sun had just begun to rise over the hills of Varian. Orange light touched the dusty fields outside her window. Today was the first full day of working with Kai. She looked at the small ring on her finger. It wasn't real. Gold, just metal from a broken drone, shaped into a simple band. It was only for show. The council believed they were married now, but in truth, they were strangers. She stepped outside and found Kai already awake. He was checking the broken water pipes near the greenhouse. He had opened the ground panel and was looking inside tools. Spread beside him. "You're up early," Mira said. Kai nodded but didn't speak. He held up a small piece of pipe that was full of cracks and holes. "That bad?" she asked. He nodded again. She knelt beside him. "Can it be fixed?" Kai picked up a small welding tool, fixed a new seal, and pressed a button. A soft hum began. Mira touched the pipe. Warm water was flowing again. Her eyes lit up. "You did it." Kai gave her a small smile, then stood up and pointed to the greenhouse. The door was broken, and several plant trays had fallen. He showed her his plan on a small pad. "Fix the greenhouse first, then move to the drone barn." Mira looked at him with growing respect. He didn't speak, but he understood everything. And he worked fast. Over the next few days, Mira and Kai followed a simple routine. At dawn, they fixed machines. At midday, they checked soil and water levels. In the evenings, they cleaned storage rooms, removed weeds, and tried to make the land look alive again. Kai barely used words. Instead, he drew maps, wrote short messages, or pointed to show what needed doing. Mira grew used to his silence. It wasn't cold, it was calm, like a steady wind. His presence gave her strength, but still, she had questions. One night after dinner, she sat on the porch with him. The stars above were bright and clear. Kai was cleaning an old tool, sharpening its edge. Mira looked at him. "Can I ask you something?" He glanced at her, nodding. "Why did you say yes?" Kai paused, then wrote on his pad, "You asked with honesty, and I saw the truth in your eyes." Mira felt warmth in her chest. "Thank you. I didn't expect anyone to care." Kai wrote again, "Sometimes people don't speak, but they see everything." She smiled. "You say more in one sentence than most do in 10. He gave a quiet smile back. Days passed. The greenhouse came back to life. With Kai's help, Mira replanted seed pods, cleaned the tanks, and set up solar lamps. Inside the barn, Kai repaired 3 of the old harvest drones. They buzzed to life for the first time in a year. Mira's workers returned slowly. A few men and women from nearby farms came back after hearing Mira had remarried and things were turning around. They didn't ask many questions. They saw the crops growing again, and that was enough. But not everyone was pleased. One afternoon, while Mira was helping Kai install a new fence gate, a sleek black transport hovered down at the edge of the field. The doors opened, and a tall man stepped out. His clothes were clean, his boots shiny. His name was Darren, a wealthy land dealer from a nearby colony. "Mira," he said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Still fighting for this dry patch of dirt?" Mira wiped her hands. "What do you want, Darren?" "I heard you found a new partner," he said, looking at Kai. "Didn't take long, did it?" Mira stepped between them. "We're working the land together. That's all that matters." Darren walked closer. "Look, Myra, I'm offering you the same deal. Again. Sell the farm. Take the credits. Start fresh. This place will never bloom again. You're wasting your time." Kai stepped forward. His eyes were calm but sharp. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Darren looked at him and smirked. "Still using broken men for protection, Mira?" Mira's fists clenched. "Leave," Darren raised his hands. "Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you." He got back in his transport and flew off. Mira turned to Kai. "He's been trying to buy this land for months. Even when Yaren was alive, Darren was sniffing around." Kai pointed to the soil, then drew a circle in the air with his finger. "He wrote, he doesn't want the land, he wants what's under it." Mira stared at the words. "Under it? What do you mean?" Kai looked at her, then erased the message. He wasn't ready to say more. That night, Mira couldn't sleep. She sat in her husband's old study, holding a small book she had found earlier that day. It was Jaren's journal. Most of it was about farm tasks, crop rotations, and supply lists. But one page was different. It said, "Something strange beneath the fields. Machines hum at night. I don't know what it is. I must dig deeper." Mira closed the book slowly. "Yaren was hiding something," she whispered. She looked outside. Kai was walking the fields alone, flashlight in hand. She watched him kneel near a certain patch of soil, one he always came back to. He touched the ground like he was listening. And for the first time, she wondered. Who was this silent man who fixed broken machines like they were toys? Who knew the land better than anyone? Who refused to speak of his past? He wasn't just a quiet farmer. He was something more. The wind blew softly across Mira's fields, carrying the smell of fresh soil and growing life. For the first time in months, green shoots rose from the ground. The land was responding. It was healing. Everywhere she looked, signs of hope appeared. Drones buzzed gently across the rows. Water flowed through the repaired pipes. Workers smiled while carrying baskets of early sprouts. The dead farm was waking up again, and at the center of it all was Kai. He was still silent, still careful, but Mira had started to understand his language, small gestures, nods, glances, even the way he walked. He didn't waste energy. He didn't speak, but he was always listening. Mira trusted him. Yet, questions still circled in her mind. She hadn't told him about the journal. Not yet. Jaren's words echoed in her head. Machines hum at night. Something is hidden under the land. She had checked the field herself a few times near the spot where Kai always walked alone. She never saw anything. But one night, she felt it too, a soft vibration in the ground, like a whisper through the soil, and still, Kai said nothing. That afternoon, while Mira checked the irrigation levels near the east field, a shadow fell over her. She looked up and saw a large hover truck approaching from the main road. It was old and dusty, but fast. 3 people climbed down. One was a tall man with dark goggles. The second was a short woman with tools strapped to her belt. The third was a young boy who carried a small, blinking scanner. Mira? The tall man called, "Mira of the Hallowfield Farm?" She stepped forward carefully. "That's me. Who are you?" The man removed his goggles. "Name's Bram. I worked with Yaren long ago, before he died. We did digging and mining work together. I heard you were in trouble. Figured we could help. Myra's eyes narrowed. Why now? The woman stepped forward. Because something's waking up beneath your land. The sensors are picking it up. Again, same signal as years ago. We think it's starting to open. Open? Myra asked. What is it? Bram looked at the field. We don't know exactly. Some kind of old tech. Could be alien, could be military. But we've only seen this type of energy once before here, on your land. Right before Yaren died. Mira's chest felt tight. Yaren knew? He was close to finding it. But then ... Bram paused. He stopped writing to us. We thought. He gave up, or was warned to stop. Mira looked toward the barn, where Kai was working. Someone else knows. Someone who's been guarding it. Bram followed her gaze. Him? Yes, Myra said softly. The woman pulled out a device and showed Mira the screen. This signal, it's coming from about 10 meters underground. Just near that tree line. Whatever is buried there, ... It's active. That night, Mira sat alone in the old study again, holding Jaren's journal. She turned to the back pages. There, she found a sketch. It showed strange symbols and a deep tunnel marked beneath the north field. Yaren had written one word below it, awakening. She closed the book and stepped outside. Kai stood near the same tree line, staring at the stars. She walked slowly. To him, I need to know the truth, she said. About what's under the land. Kai didn't move. His face was calm, but his jaw tightened slightly. Mira stepped closer. I found Jaren's journal, she continued. He was close too. Something hidden. Something powerful. Still, Kai said nothing. Bram and his crew showed up today, she said. They have machines reading signals beneath the soil. It matches what Yaren found before he died. This isn't just about crops, is it? Finally, Kai turned. He reached into his coat and took out a metal chip. It glowed softly. He placed it in her hand. The moment Myra touched it, a rush of warmth traveled up her arm. She heard a soft hum just like the one in the soil. What is this? She asked. Kai pulled out his pad and wrote, Key to the vault. You must not give it to the wrong hands. Vault? Mira asked. Under the farm? Kai nodded. He continued. Writing. Long ago, a team buried ancient tech here. Not from this world. It can give life to the land. But in wrong hands, it destroys. Mira stared at him. Is that why Yaren died? Because he got too close? Kai looked down, then wrote. He was warned. But he didn't stop. Someone wanted him silent. Mira took a shaky breath. And you? Who are you really? Kai hesitated, then slowly wrote. I was sent to protect it. I failed once. I won't fail again. Myra's heart beat faster. You're not just a farmer, are you? He looked into her eyes, silent, steady. No, she whispered. The next day, Darren returned. His hovercar landed without warning, this time with 2 guards. Smiled at Mira, stepping onto the dusty path like he owned it. You've done well, he said. Crops look alive again. But I'm afraid I must insist on buying your land now. Double my last offer. Mira stood firm. It's not for sale. Darren's smile faded. I think it is. You don't know what you're sitting on. But I do. And if you don't sell, things could get ... complicated. Kai walked up beside Mira. He held a wrench in one hand. His calm eyes stared right through Darren. Darren gave a fake laugh. Your silent bodyguard again? He can't stop what's coming. You think the council cares about rules? They'll take this land when I tell them to. Mira stepped forward. You're not getting anything. Darren leaned closer. Then maybe I'll come back at night when no one's watching. Kai moved. It was fast, so fast Darren's guards didn't see him until he was inches away. Kai didn't touch them. He only stared, and something in his silent look made the guards freeze. Darren raised his hands. All right, we'll talk again." He turned and left, but not before casting one last look at Mira. "We're not done," he warned Dot as the hovercar disappeared into the sky. Mira felt a cold wind. "Rise, Dot," she turned to Kai. "He knows about the vault." Kai nodded once. "Then we need to find it," she said. "Before he does." The sun rose slowly over the farm, casting golden light across the green fields, but Mira's heart was not calm. Her mind was filled with worry. Darren had returned, and this time, with threats. She stood near the tree line beside Kai, his eyes searched the soil, steady and focused. He held a device that hummed gently in his hand. Mira watched him kneel down and scan the ground. A soft light blinked on the screen. "It's here, isn't it?" she asked. Kai nodded. The vault her late husband, Yaron, wrote about, the one Kai had sworn to protect, was buried right under their feet, not deep below the soil. "Just 10 meters down. What's inside?" Mira asked softly. Kai stood up and typed on his datapad. "Not a weapon. Not gold. It's a source of power. It heals land, restores dead soil, can grow forests and deserts." Mira's eyes widened. "That's why the farm is alive again. It's not just our work. The land is feeding from the energy." Kai nodded once. She looked at him. "And Darren wants to take it, to use it for control." Kai didn't reply, but his expression turned cold. He walked away toward the barn, where the tools and drones were kept. Mira followed. "We can't let him find it. If the council helps him." Kai raised his hand, stopping her. He typed, "We won't wait. We prepare." Inside the barn, Mira saw what he had been doing in secret. Machines were laid out on the workbench. Modified harvest drones, reprogrammed defense bots, old shields from the colony wars fixed, cleaned and ready. Her fake husband was not a simple farmer. He was a soldier, a protector. Maybe more. That night, strange lights appeared in the sky. Mira stood on her porch, staring at the bright flashes above the hills. The stars flickered unnaturally. For a moment, the land seemed to hum beneath her feet. Bram and his crew had stayed behind to help. They were setting up scanners and preparing tools for an emergency dig. Bram walked over to her. "I saw a ship today," he said. "Not local. Colony Council doesn't send those models." "That means Darren is calling in outside help. Mercenaries?" Mira asked. "Maybe," Bram said. "Or worse." Kai approached them silently. He handed Mira a small map. It showed the farm layout, with red markers placed near key points: the drone barn, the water tank, the vault location. "He's setting up defense points," Bram said with surprise. "That's smart, really smart," Mira nodded. "He's always 10 steps ahead." She looked at Kai. "Will it be enough?" He didn't answer, but his eyes said yes. The next day, trouble arrived. Just after sunrise, Mira heard the low roar of engines. A large black hovercraft landed near the south fence. Men in dark armor stepped out, 7 of them, carrying weapons. At the front stood Darren, smiling as always. Mira and Kai stood at the edge of the field. Behind them, Bram and 2 workers watched from cover. Darren walked forward. "Last chance, Mira. Sell the land. Walk away. You'll be paid well." Mira crossed her arms. "Not for any price," Darren sighed. "Then I take it by force." He raised his hand. Suddenly, the defense drones Kai had hidden in the trees flew out, surrounding the farm edge. They hovered in silence, lights blinking red. Armed men lifted their weapons, but froze as Kai stepped forward. He held no weapon, only his calm stare. He raised one hand and pressed a button on his pad. The drones powered up, buzzing louder. Darren growled. "You think you can scare me with old machines?" Kai didn't move. His body was still, but his message was clear: leave or fight. Darren looked at his men. They hesitated. They weren't ready for drones. "Fine," he snapped. We'll go, for now. But the council will hear about this. As he turned, he pointed at Mira. You've made enemies. You'll regret it. Then he left. Later that evening, Mira found Kai near the water tanks, checking pressure levels. He didn't even touch a weapon. She said with a small smile. Kai typed, "A real fight is won before it begins." She smiled again. "You're full of surprises." He looked at her for a moment, then typed, "I made a promise to your husband." Mira's breath caught. "You knew Yaren?" Kai nodded. He typed slowly this time. "He found the vault by accident. Told me everything. I was sent to protect it. But I failed. Someone silenced him before I could stop them." Mira's hands trembled. "So his death wasn't an accident." Kai's face turned sad. He typed, "I promised him I would protect you." "And the land." Mira's eyes filled with tears. "You kept that promise, even when I didn't know who you were." Kai turned back to the tanks. He didn't need thanks. His duty was clear, but Mira saw more than duty in his eyes now. She saw loyalty, and something even deeper unspoken, gentle. That night, Mira walked to the vault site alone. The wind was cold. The stars were bright above. She stood over the place where the energy pulse had been the strongest. She knelt down, touching the soil. "I won't run," she whispered. "This land is mine, and I'll protect it too." She heard soft footsteps behind her. Kai stood there, holding a sensor. He placed it beside her hand. The ground lit up in soft blue rings, like ripples in water. A quiet hum filled the air. Mira looked up at him. "It's waking up, isn't it?" Kai nodded. Mira stood. "Then we need to move fast. Darren will come again. And next time, he won't just bring guards." Kai looked out at the horizon. His hand tightened around his scanner. He typed, "Then we'll be ready." Dark clouds moved across the sky. A storm was coming, both from the sky and from men. Mira stood near the vault site with Kai, Bram, and the others. The blue hum beneath the soil had grown stronger. The signal was no longer hidden. The energy below was rising, like something long asleep was slowly waking up. "Can we open it before Darren comes back?" Mira asked. Bram shook his head. "Too risky. It's not just a door, it's a system. If we open it wrong, the whole thing might shut down or collapse." Kai stood silent, watching the scanner in his hand. Then he pointed to the map, showing the vault's shape. It looked like a circle, with 6 outer points around it, almost like an old symbol from Earth history. "Energy lines," Bram said, surprised. "He's right. These are energy points. If we power each node, the vault might open safely." Mira asked, "And if we fail?" Bram looked nervous. "We could lose the whole land." Kai looked at Mira, then typed slowly on his pad. "We wait, but we prepare for battle." Later that night, Mira sat near the fire outside the house. The workers had gone to rest. Bram's crew had gone back to check their equipment. Only Mira and Kai remained awake. She turned to him. "Can I ask something personal?" Kai didn't move but gave a small nod. "Why don't you ever speak?" She asked gently. "Is it really because of an injury?" Kai stared into the fire, his face calm but distant. He slowly pulled his collar down. A thin scar ran across his neck, faint but deep. Mira's breath caught in her throat. She looked into his eyes. "Who did this to you?" He typed, "During a mission, long ago. They didn't want me to talk." Mira frowned. "You were in the army?" Kai nodded once. Then he typed again, "But not just any army. I worked with the Guardian Corps. We protected hidden tech across planets. Tech that could heal or destroy. The vault is one of those." Mira stared at him. "You were a Guardian?" Kai nodded. Mira had heard of them. Most people thought the Guardian Corps was just a storia, group of quiet protectors who kept powerful alien devices from falling into the wrong hands. If the vault under her land was real, and Kai had been guarding It for years, then her farm was more important than she ever imagined. Why didn't you tell me before? She whispered. He typed, it was safer for you not to know. Until now. She looked at him, eyes full of emotion. You could have left, but you stayed. He typed, I made a promise. Not just to Yaren, but to myself. Mira felt her chest grow warm. This man's silent, strong, kind head stood by her from the moment she asked for help. Not for reward, not for thanks. Just because it was right. She reached out and gently touched his hand. He looked surprised but didn't pull away. You're not just saving the land, she said softly. You're saving me too. At dawn, Bram rushed to the house. They're coming, he shouted. 3 transports. Darren's not waiting anymore. Mira grabbed her coat and boots. Kai was already in the barn, preparing the drones. He handed Mira a communicator and motioned for her to stay near the vault. What's the plan? Bram asked. Kai tapped a new message. We don't let them near the energy field. If they breach the circle, the vault may activate and explode. Mira's eyes widened. Explode? Kai nodded seriously. The vault will protect itself, but it won't know who is friend or enemy. Outside, dust clouds rose in the distance. The transports were getting closer. Mira took a deep breath. Let's finish what we started. The battle came fast. Darren's men spread out in formation, wearing new gear and carrying pulse rifles. But they didn't expect the defenses Kai had built. The drones launched from hidden points, flying fast and blocking the path to the vault. Electric pulses hit the ground, stopping the enemy's march. Mira stood near the circle, eyes scanning everything. She held her communicator tight. Then she saw Darren. He stepped from the lead transport, wearing armor and holding a strange device in his hand. It glowed with a soft red light. That's not colony tech, Bram said. That's alien-made. Kai saw it too. His expression turned sharp. He typed, that device can override the vault. If he reaches the center, the core will react. Mira said, we can't let him step inside the circle. Darren walked forward, holding the red device high. I know what's buried here, he shouted. You can't stop me. This land belongs to the future. Kai moved faster than Mira had ever seen. He ran straight toward Darren. The 2 men clashed. Near the vault's edge, Darren's guards opened fire, but Mira's drones blocked the shots. Kai disarmed one of the men, used his momentum to flip another, and moved like a blur. He was not just a farmer. He was a warrior trained for moments like this. Darren raised the red device, pointing it toward the vault. A sudden shockwave burst from the ground. A glowing circle lit up, bright blue. The entire land began to hum. The vault is waking up. Bram shouted. Mira ran to Kai. We have to stop him now. Kai jumped and knocked the device from Darren's hand. It rolled across the soil, sparking. The vault shook. Light burst from the center. For a moment, everyone froze. Then a voice echoed. From the ground, not human, not machine. A soft, deep sound. Unauthorized access detected. Core protection initiated. Mira looked at Kai. What does that mean? Kai grabbed her arm and pulled her away. He typed quickly. It's going to release a defense wave. Anyone close may be hurt. They ran. A pulse of energy exploded from the vault, throwing Darren and his guards backward. His transport was pushed across the field. The light faded slowly, and silence returned. When the dust cleared, Darren's men were unconscious. Darren himself crawled away, dazed. The red device was broken. Mira walked to him. This land was never yours. Darren looked up, coughing. You think it's over? There are others. Stronger than me. Kai walked beside her and typed, let them come. That night, the vault sat quiet again. Mira stood with Kai, watching the field. Will it open? She asked. Kai typed, only when the land is ready, not before. Mira smiled. And we'll be ready too. She looked at him. then took his hand. "You're more than a fake husband now," she whispered. Kai looked into her eyes, and though no words came from his mouth, his gaze said everything. He was hers, and he always would be. The sky over the farm turned red-orange as evening approached. The wind carried a strange feeling. It wasn't fear. It wasn't peace. It was something in between. Mira stood near the vault, her boots on the fresh soil. The battle with Darren had ended just a day ago, but her mind was still spinning. Everything had changed. The land had defended itself. The vault had awakened for a moment. The truth about Kai had come out. He wasn't just a quiet farmer. He was a guardian, a protector of ancient technology. And he had once promised her late husband he would protect this land. And her now Mira wasn't just trying to save her home. She was standing in the middle of something far bigger. Kai stood beside her, calm and quiet. He held the broken red device that Darren had used. Its glow was gone now, but its shape was still sharp, unlike anything made by human hands. Mira looked at him. "Will more people come?" He nodded once. She swallowed. "From where?" Kai pulled out his pad and typed, "Off-world. Other systems. The vault is old, very old. It's not the only one. But most are hidden, buried. This one is active now." She stared at the ground. "And they can feel it?" Kai nodded again. Mira clenched her fists. "I won't let them take it." He looked at her and typed, "We won't let them." Later, inside the house, Mira read through Jaren's journal again. She flipped through every page, looking for answers. One line stood out now more than ever. "Whatever is buried here. It was left for a reason. Maybe not for us. Maybe not for now. But it will choose." She closed the book slowly. Could the vault really choose who was worthy? Suddenly, a soft beeping sound came from the wall. It was the scanner Bram had installed to track energy levels. Mira rushed to the barn, where Bram and his team were working. "Something's changing," she said, showing the screen. "The signal is rising again." Bram looked at the numbers. "It's pulsing every few hours now, faster than before." "Is it trying to open?" Mira asked. "Maybe," Bram said. "Or maybe it's calling for help." That made Mira pause. "Calling who?" Bram frowned. "That's the scary part." That night, Mira couldn't sleep. She walked outside and sat under the large tree near the edge of the field. The stars were bright. The moons of Virion hung low in the sky. Kai came silently, holding 2 mugs of warm root tea. He handed her one and sat beside her. They drank quietly. Mira finally asked the question that had been in her heart for days. What happens if we open the vault and something dangerous is inside? Kai took out his pad. He typed slowly this time. "Then I will stop it, even if it costs me everything." Mira turned to him. "Even your life?" He nodded. She shook her head. "No, I won't let you die. I've lost too many already." Kai looked at her with soft eyes. Then he typed, "You gave me something to protect again. You brought me back to life." A long silence followed. Then Mira leaned her head on his shoulder. She didn't speak. She didn't have to. The next morning, everything changed. A sharp sound filled the air, louder than any drone, deeper than any storm. The vault pulsed with light. The blue energy spread from the center and touched the ground like lightning in slow motion. Mira, Kai, Bram, and the workers gathered near the edge. No one dared go closer. "It's fully awake," Bram said, staring at the glow. "It's never done this before." The air shimmered. And then something rose from the ground. A tall structure, black and silver, shaped like a spire. It had no doors, no windows. Just a smooth surface that shone in the light. At the top, a soft white glow blinked in rhythm. Mira's mouth fell open. "Is that the vault?" Kai nodded. He walked slowly toward it. Mira followed him, heart pounding. As they reached the edge, Kai stopped and raised his hand. The light on the spire turned blue. The earth hummed again, and then a soft voice spoke, not from the air, but from inside their minds. Guardian recognized. Second presence detected. Confirm identity. Mira gasped. It's talking to us. Kai looked at her. He took her hand gently and stepped forward. The light turned brighter. Second presence confirmed. Bloodline match detected. Access granted. Myra froze. Bloodline? What does that mean? Kai typed quickly. You're connected. Through Yeren. Maybe through someone else. You are part of its key. The ground below them opened slowly, revealing a staircase made of light. It led down deep into the earth. Kai looked at her. His eyes asked one question. Mira, are you ready? She nodded. Together, they stepped into the light. Inside. It was silent. The stairs led to a round chamber glowing with soft blue energy. Symbols floated in the air, alien letters Mira couldn't read. At the center stood a tall pedestal with a crystal resting on it. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Kai stepped forward and placed his hand on it. The room shifted. Images filled the space. Around them, holograms of other worlds, ruined cities, forests healed by the same energy. Mountains turned green again. A voice echoed again. This core is life. It must be protected. It must be chosen. You have been chosen. Mira stared at the crystal. Why me? The voice replied, because you care. Because you are willing to protect, not to own. This is not a gift. It is a test. Kai stepped back. Mira walked toward the crystal. Her fingers touched it. In that moment, she saw visions, her farm growing full and green, her people safe, her land alive. But also visions of destruction if the core was used wrong. Wars, burning soil, dead planets. She pulled her hand back, breath shaking. I don't want power, she whispered. I just want to protect what's mine. The crystal pulsed again once, gently. Then the vault is yours to guard. Mira and Kai returned to the surface. The vault sealed behind them. But the glow remained a calm light, no longer dangerous, but peaceful. Bram watched them return. Well, Mira smiled. It chose, and it's staying. Kai stood beside her, silent and strong. The storm was not over. But for the first time, Mira felt truly ready, with Kai at her side and the vault beneath her feet. She was no longer just a young widow. She was a guardian now. The morning sun rose slowly over Hallowfield Farm, casting golden light over the soil. Crops were sprouting, birds returned to the air, and the wind carried the smell of green life. But Mira knew peace wouldn't last long. The vault beneath her. Land had chosen her and Kai as its new guardians. But now, others would come stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than Darren. Mira walked across the field with Kai beside her. The air felt heavy. She could sense something approaching. Inside the barn, Bram looked at the scanner screen. 2 ships, off-world design. They just entered the planet's orbit. Big ones, Mira frowned. How long until they arrive? Maybe an hour, Bram said. They're fast. Kai typed on his pad. This is the real test. These are not thieves, they are collectors. They take ancient tech and erase those who protect it. Mira's voice was firm. Then we hold the line. Bram looked at her. You sure? We could run. You still have time. Mira shook her head. This is my land. I won't leave it behind. Kai glanced at her, a calm strength in his eyes. In that final hour, the entire farm moved like a machine. Drones were armed. Barriers were activated. Bram's team placed hidden mines along the back fields. Even the oldest bots, half broken and rusty, were set to defend. Mira stood at the center near the vault entrance, a glowing ring behind her where the energy still shimmered faintly. She wore her husband's old farming coat, patched and strong, and held the vault's key in her hand. Her heart beat steady. Then they came. 2 sleek black ships flew low and fast, dust clouds rising behind them. When they landed, the air buzzed with strange energy. Doors opened and out stepped figures dressed in smooth gray armor, their faces covered. They didn't look like soldiers. They looked like ghosts. One of them walked forward, tall and silent. He carried no weapon but gave off a powerful, strange presence. Mira stepped forward. "This is private land. You're not welcome here." The tall figure raised a hand. His voice was smooth, almost too perfect. "We come for the vault. It belongs to no one. It must be preserved and protected by us." Kai stepped beside Mira and shook his head slowly. The man looked at him. "You are of the Guardian Corps. You know this technology should not remain in weak hands." Kai typed, "It chose her. She will protect it." The man tilted his head. "She is human. She is flawed." Mira raised her voice. "I may be human, but I'm not weak. I didn't beg for this. I earned it. My land was dying. My people left. And I stood alone. This vault came back to life because I never gave up." Silence followed. Then the man said coldly, "Then we take it by force." He raised his hand. From the ship, a group of gray-armored soldiers marched forward. Their weapons glowed blue. Mira whispered to Kai, "Are you ready?" Kai typed quickly, "I've been ready since the day I met you." Then the battle began. The sky lit up with blasts. Drones launched from hidden towers and clashed mid-air with strange enemy bots. Mira and Bran ducked behind metal walls as explosions shook the ground. The soil, once dead, now fought for life. Kai moved like wind fast, quiet, unstoppable. He used tools, shields, and speed to disable the enemy, never stopping. Mira shouted orders. "Hold the line near the vault. Don't let them inside." Bram fired a pulse rifle from cover. "They're pushing through the west side." Mira turned toward the vault, only to see one of the enemy soldiers charging toward it. He had a scanner in hand and was less than 50 steps away. She ran forward, yelling, "No!" But the soldier raised his scanner, and the vault reacted. The energy field sparked violently. Suddenly, Kai appeared between them. He grabbed the scanner and smashed it into the ground. A bright flash threw them both back. Mira rushed to him. "Kai!" He stood, shaky but alive. His coat was torn, one shoulder bleeding. But his eyes still burned with strength. The enemy soldier didn't rise again. As the battle raged, something unexpected happened. The vault glowed brighter. A soft pulse ran through the ground. The attackers froze for a moment, confused. Some of their weapons stopped working. Others dropped their scanners, looking around in panic. Mira looked at Kai. "What's happening?" Kai typed, "The vault is defending itself. It trusts us now." The soft hum turned into a rising sound like a low song from deep within the earth. The wind shifted. Even the crops swayed in rhythm. The attackers slowly backed away. The tall leader called out, "Stand down, retreat." His soldiers obeyed, moving quickly to the ships. Within minutes, the ships lifted off, leaving only silence behind. Mira stared at the sky as the ships vanished into clouds. It was over. That evening, the farm was quiet. Broken drones lay scattered. Smoke drifted from a few burned patches, but the land stood tall. The vault glowed peacefully, and Mira still held the key. She walked to the porch and found Kai sitting, his arm wrapped in cloth. "You saved it," she said softly. He shook his head and typed, "We saved it." She smiled and sat beside him. "I never expected this," she said. "I only wanted to protect my land, to keep a piece of my husband's dream alive." Kai looked at her, then typed, "You did more than that. You became something new, a true guardian." She looked into his eyes. "You could go now. Your mission is done." Kai slowly typed, "I have nowhere else to go. This land is my home now. Because you are." Mira felt her chest fill with warmth. She reached over and took his hand. "You came here to pretend to be my husband," she said gently. "But now, I don't want to pretend. Kai paused for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly with his good hand. He took out the same ring Mira had once given him when the deal began back. When it was all fake, he placed it on her finger again. But this time, it was real. In the weeks that followed, the land grew richer. The vault remained quiet, peaceful. No more strangers came. The farm workers returned. Life returned. And Mira stood beside Kai, not as a widow, not as a woman in need, but as a guardian of something greater than herself. She had faced storms, layers, and invaders, and in the end she had found love, truth, and a purpose stronger than fear. The silent farmer who once walked into her life to help her save her land had helped her save the world.